What's going on, guys? Give me a second to get settled in here. We do have a couple of um, storms to monitor in Illinois. We're just going to give this a brief second here. All right, here we go. So, we do have some severe storms that are popping up and moving into the Illinois area. There is currently a tornado watch in effect for these areas here. In fact, let's go ahead and overlay that on the screen so we have that, have those areas um, all set to go here. Let's go ahead and get this on here. Where do we put this? Okay, well, I guess I can't put that on for some reason. That's weird. Let's try this. There we go. That's what I wanted. Perfect. All right, so this red box here across western Illinois is going to be your tornado watch. That's going to be in effect until roughly 6 p.m., 7 p.m. Central Time. That's going to be for these storms moving up and through the Illinois area, just crossing over the border of Missouri and Iowa into the Illinois area. So we're going to be live here for at least a few minutes here just to see what happens with these storms. So these do have a couple of warnings here. There's one down here just over the border into Missouri. This is going to be for Pike and also Lincoln County there. That's going to cross into the state here momentarily. Some other storms up here moving through Macomb, Bushnell, Galesburg area here, Rushville, Beardstown, getting in on this as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of our velocity signatures here. Not seeing much in the way of any rotation with these storms at this point, although there was a couple tornadoes earlier today out in Iowa. So this does have potential for some tornadic activity here, as there is a tornado watch that is still in effect. So we're going to take back this radar here. We're going to roll with this radar. It's kind of a radar gap here, unfortunately. So we don't really have too much in the way of data. We will have a better data point when these storms get closer here to the radar, which is over here in central Illinois. But right now, these are moving more so northeast at about 50 miles per hour. So Galesburg, Peoria, Bloomington, Springfield, you guys are going to be in the path of these storms. Not currently severe. There was a severe storm about 10 minutes ago or so on these storms, but otherwise that has since been dropped. As these storms continue off to the east, northeast. There is actually a weakening trend here as well. I've noticed with these storms. So hopefully that continues. This is only going to be round one. We do have another round to go through a little bit later on tonight. Out in Iowa here, we are watching development or redevelopment, should I say, excuse me, should I say, of showers and storms here across central, south central Iowa, right along this region right here. We're watching for more potential here. There's also some storms. There's also some storms behind this one as well, moving off to the east northeast. So West Illinois, multiple rounds of showers and storms tonight and today as well. This is just round one here. This shouldn't be too overly severe, but there is potential here for severe weather, mostly in the form of damaging winds and large hail, but a small chance here of a tornado as this pushes off to the east northeast. And then look back to the west here for round two, and perhaps a round three as well a little bit later on tonight in the overnight hours, but that's going to be a lower threat if that does happen. So overall, I'm going to go ahead and shut some of these layers off so it's not so cluttered on the screen here. Let's go ahead and turn that off. So this is the yellow shade area back here. That's going to be your that's a wind advisory. That's going to be a wind advisory. I thought that was going to be a severe watch, but it is not. Let's go ahead and take that off the screen here as well. There we go. And then the watches should be up here. Tornado watch. There's your tornado watch for basically the entire state of Iowa. There's one county here in southwest Wisconsin. That's going to be for Grant County in Wisconsin, and then also extending all the way further down here toward the west central Illinois region. I'm getting alerts about new warnings popping in galore here. So let's go ahead and take back our radar here and shut the red layer off the screen. Currently no severe watches, just tornado watches in effect here. I don't see any new warnings here for Illinois. Most of these are going to be out in Iowa still. We'll be watching these closely. This one looks pretty healthy down here near Kirksville. That's not in their viewing area, but it does have potential to move into the viewing area here next couple of next hour or two. Good news is these are moving more so northerly, so that should miss the state. But as time goes on, they should push eastward as well as north. So it should move into the state till later tonight. In fact, we can actually look at some models here. Actually, that was a new tornado warning up here in western Iowa there. We'll take a look at that here in a second. But I do want to look at some models here to show you guys the potential for later on this evening. We're going to be looking at the HRRR model. So this is what it says it currently should look like. Let's go ahead and move this forward here about 3 hours here. So we're going to see an additional development here across Missouri and Iowa. It's going to push into Illinois here. We have some remnant showers and storms across the entire state here of Illinois. Those should be non-severe, but wouldn't be shocked if one or two of those were severe. The main risk is going to be with this line that forms this afternoon and evening. This is 7 p.m., 6 p.m. local time, I believe. Yeah, it's going to be 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. local. We're going to be moving this through the time frame here. Let's go one more. It's going to continue to develop here into Illinois. Go ahead and zoom out here all the way up through South Wisconsin, getting into the threat there as well. Moving forward one more hour, we're going to see that continue to move into Illinois. It does start to weaken with time, but that's going to be the main concern and main line of storms here. Anywhere from basically Springfield and north looks to have a good storm threat, and also a low chance for any of these storms out here in West Indiana to become severe as well, although that chance is very, very low with that. The main concern is going to be back here with this secondary line that forms. So that's what the model shows. Going back to radar here. I'm getting warnings galore. I'm not sure you guys can hear that alert in the background there, but they're just popping in here, one right after the other. The good news is, though, for right now, the only strong storm, a really strong storm that I see besides up here in Galesburg, a lot of lightning with this one. The one that's warned that may move into Illinois warned here is down here by St. Louis, just north of Wentzville here. This is going to be moving into the county of Calhoun County, I believe this is Calhoun County in Illinois. And also Greene County eventually, perhaps Pike County as well. That's going to be for southwestern Illinois. Man, these are just, can you guys hear that alert in the background there? They're just popping one right after the other here. Most of these are going to be for the tornado warning up here in Iowa. I'm seeing there's a report of a tornado that happened here by emergency management. That was as about a half hour ago. But these storms up here don't pose a threat to our viewing area, but they do have some relatively good velocity on them. So they just keep popping in one right after the other. That's crazy. So overall, we're gonna keep on here for a few more minutes here. We're gonna track some of these storms. The good news is over here they're weakening for right now, but there is a tornado watch that is still in effect for these storms, and also through the evening hours as well. So these do carry some severe potential, mainly in the form of damaging winds and large hail, but not going to be shocked if we do see a tornado or two in the state of Illinois today. Yes, Dane, it does look like it's going to be active over there. More so for hail, I think, tomorrow for Michigan and Ohio, but there is a tornado risk that's pretty low. In my opinion, we'll wait for some new models to come in here and have an update tonight on the pages for you. Let's take a focus back down here and just keep it on this storm. This one looks to be the strongest of these storms, even though this one's not really warned for hail. It is warned for 60-mile-per-hour winds. I currently do not see much in the way of rotation with these storms, which is good news. Go ahead and take another peek at this briefly here. Yeah, there's not much in the way of rotation with the storm at this point. So that's good news. We'll keep that right there. Perfect. We'll go and switch back and forth here. So that could get extended over here into Calhoun and Pike counties momentarily. we'll have to wait and see what they do with that. A lot of lightning with this storm. Any of these storms really have a lot of lightning with these. So if you're going to be um, out and about today in West Illinois, definitely pay attention to any warnings that do get issued, as well. Just be prepared for some small hail, gusty winds, and a lot of lightning at the very least. There is no threat today, Jordan, for Flint. That's going to be for tomorrow. And yes, Flint is in a low risk right now for tornadoes. See what's way these storms moving up here. I'm honestly a little bit more concerned for these areas up here. As afternoon goes on, instability would increase. So these storms may actually be moving into a better environment here into southern Wisconsin later on. Although I don't think that's going to be too much of a concern. I think the main threat's going to be further back to the west here with this round two that's beginning to develop back here. So lots going on today. A lot of scattered nature. Oh, okay. So there actually is a tornado that is on the ground up here in northwestern Iowa. Today, guys, there is no threat today for Michigan. That's going to be for tomorrow. I'm not sure where exactly the tornado is in this mess of velocity here. I'm guessing down here. I guess I don't know. It's just really hard to tell. These aren't really. I mean, logic would tell you somewhere, and this is just weird. It's a conglomerate mess of velocity. I'm gonna guess it's gonna be somewhere right up in here. But I have a picture of it. I'm staring at my phone right now. It looks like a pretty thin tornado, but is a tornado nonetheless. Oh, I see where it's at now. We're down here. Right, roughly right there. So that's gonna be northwest Iowa, though. So not in our viewing area. We're gonna be focusing back here on Illinois here. But it is kind of fun sometimes to look at other states' risks. Yeah, did a good live stream this morning at 11:30 on the Michigan page. We'll be going live again tonight at 8 o'clock to discuss updates. Uh, Afternoon models are actually rolling in right now. I have not took a peek at those yet, but we'll have a better, not better, but a more updated discussion tonight at 8 o'clock. And also, this evening's model runs, and then also we'll have an update tomorrow morning for you guys. But right now, this morning and later, this morning's models really just didn't really look impressive for overall tornado threat for Michigan tomorrow, but that could change. Just made it in. What's up, Freedom? Thanks, Ashley. Appreciate your explanation there. So the good news here out in Illinois right now is that these storms are continuing to weaken, although we do have additional development further to the west. We're going to be watching. Over here, it's going to take a little bit better radar if we can get this here. Here we go. This area right here just got warned again out ahead of this line. This is moving more so northeast, so this would be more so tracking towards Burlington, Galesburg, Davenport, all the way basically along the river here in the Illinois area. So that's going to be something to watch here over the next hour or two. How much wind you talking about tomorrow or right now, Freedom? We're covering Illinois right now, as there was a severe warning here a little bit ago, and it has since expired. But some of these storms could be severe today in Illinois. There's actually a tornado watch in effect for West Illinois right now. The wind risk tomorrow is upgraded now to 15% for East Michigan, very far East Michigan. But overall, the wind risk tomorrow is definitely on the table. It's not a very high threat. I think hail is still the primary threat tomorrow, but we could see some damaging winds as well as a tornado or two possible. For all the Great Lakes region, looking more so likely for northern Ohio and very far eastern Michigan for a wind risk. Our chasers on the network here will be chasing more than likely in Ohio and or Michigan tomorrow. So we will have live coverage streaming primarily for Michigan coverage because that's where we're mostly based out of. But we will be live probably on this account, on the Great Lakes account for tomorrow with live chasing. We may have a few chasers in Ohio as well. So we'll have a multi-state um, coverage for you. Looking at the latest HRRR model coming in now, really no change in what I'm seeing with the placement of storms. I don't really want to dive in too much into ingredients right now because I'm live. I like to focus on that when I'm doing it. Okay, now you have a new warning just got issued for, hey, finally our viewing area here for 60-mile-per-hour winds. It's going to be for Calhoun County in southwestern Illinois here. So it's going to be for this storm down here, looks like by Troy, just north of Wentzville area, moving up into the Illinois area here. So we'll keep on this storm. Let's go ahead and take a peek at velocity on this. Um, let's go ahead and take a little bit better look here on the radar scope. We do have a couple of interesting features on reflectivity. So nothing much on velocity though, but that does bear watching here. Do we have anything on the airport radar? We have an airport radar. Yeah, we do. Cool. Anything there? Yep, there's your gusty winds. This area right here, that's going to be some higher winds there, probably up to 60-mile-per-hour winds likely in that region. Moscow Hills, Troy. This is going to be for Missouri. That's going to push right across the border here momentarily into Calhoun County. Again, this is going to be for Illinois. This is not Calhoun, Michigan. This is Illinois. So we'll keep on this storm here and take a little bit more of a zoomed in look on this radar and then bring up the other regional radar a bit further to the north here. Looks like we have the WILU radar back online here. That's great news. Although it doesn't really give us much in the way of any look at any storms, it does give us some more insight here on a local basis. So overall, not much happening at this point in time. These storms are weakening as they're moving to the north and to the east. Great news there, but this is only round one. We do have multiple rounds coming in from the west today in Iowa and Missouri. In fact, there's already been multiple tornadoes in Iowa already today. That was to be expected. The risk does shift into Illinois later on this evening. So we'll be covering that as best as we possibly can. Alrighty here, let's go ahead and check this out real quick. It's going to be a very quick hitting threat tomorrow. It's going to be very fast moving and pretty early on in the day. And I'm looking at some profiles here of the atmosphere tomorrow from the latest model. I don't really see much in the way of any changes. So that's just one model though. We'll have to wait for other models to come in. But for right now, I'm going to say the threat is still quite unchanged. I do think West Ohio, Northwest Ohio in particular, has a better overall threat tomorrow, but it's still going to be interesting to see how that develops here. All right, let's go ahead and zoom back in down here. Let's go ahead and do this. Whoa, that's a mess. Let's do this. Oh, we have another tornado now. How many Calhoun counties are there? There's a Illinois, there's a Michigan, and now there's an Iowa. I see here. That just got a confirmed tornado warning here for Iowa. Not there's seeing much there on radar, but that's crazy. There's so many Calhoun counties out here. Confirmed. Yep, that's interesting. So Iowa's popping off today. Good news is, though, here in the region that we are not at this point, and I'll get all this clutter off your screen for you guys so you guys can have a better idea here of what's going to happen or what's going on here. Oh wow. So some tools that we're using this year that were developed, not we are, but have been developed by a few engineers and meteorologists and forecasters, storm chasers. It is a product we call StormNet. It gives us an idea of where severe probabilities could happen in the next 1 to 3 hour period. If I overlay that, it is lighting up this area out ahead of this line of storms here in northern Missouri and south Iowa here. It's highlighting a lot of potential here for a tornado being possible on this line here as the afternoon goes on. So this is going to make us go on high alert here for this particular region of storms here. The actual 1 hour probability is really high up here. And yeah, we're getting some interesting velocities showing up there. So we'll watch that line as it pushes more so toward northwestern Illinois here in the next hour or so. But I do want to highlight that we do have some tools here that we are highlighting that are highlighting this big risk here of the 3 hour probabilities. There we go. Back down here to the only warning in effect here for Calhoun, Illinois, Calhoun County, Illinois. It's me for this storm down here. It is looking like it's trying to have a hook on it. I'll have to watch that close. There is potential for a tornado with these storms. Although this storm is not currently warned for a tornado potential, the overall environment would support the formation of one. So I'll have to watch this close. Yeah, there's a lot of Calhoun counties there, Freedom. This you see it right here on your screen. I don't know if you can see that right there. There's Calhoun. We have the Calhoun County up here in Michigan, but then out here in Iowa, I just noticed there's another Calhoun County right here. So Calhoun must be a really popular name around the U.S. We're going to stay on this storm for right now. Only storm I really see that is catching my eye personally for any severe in the state of Illinois is right there, about to cross over the border. So we're going to stay on that storm. I do have a radar pulled up to my left here, which I look at a lot. So I'm looking away from the screen here because I'm looking at another completely different radar here, which you guys really can't see that just because of the background green screen. But I do have multiple sources and data pulled up here, so which I can actually overlay that here and go back and forth between the two. Whoops, that is not what I wanted. So we're going to take a 2-panel look at this, and we're going to leave it right there. We're going to track this into southwestern Illinois here as it comes over the border. So bear with us here. Is just kind of waiting on this. How widespread is the fire risk today? Saw all of Michigan under some risk or another. Yeah. Go ahead and bring this up for you. I believe I have this product on Radar Omega. So yeah, in Michigan specifically, the humidity right now, even though we've had a lot of rain over the past couple of days, the humidity levels and the wind risk is overall promoting rapid fire conditions here in Michigan. I don't see it. Oh, that's the outlook. Hold on. We want this. There we go. So these counties in pink here, pretty much the entire state, unless you live in the very far eastern thumb, all the way down to the 94 corridor, you guys are not. But if you're in this pinkish red box here, you are in a elevated fire risk today, where they basically say don't burn. It can get out of control, and it can also it's wildfire conditions. Honestly, this is how wildfires start is today. So if you live in Michigan, pretty much the entire state of Michigan, even parts of northern Wisconsin as well, I would definitely hold off on burning. Humidity levels are quite low today, and the winds are pretty gusty. So we don't want to see a Michigan or a Wisconsin wildfire this early in the year. The same people who are going to ignore and start burning are the same people who are going to complain about the smoke later on this year, because we're probably going to get more wildfire smoke this year from Canada, unfortunately. So yeah. All right. This is a storm we're still tracking here. It's about to cross the Illinois state line. It is currently warned for severe winds. The winds on this storm do appear to be quite gusty with this overall. Uh, some potential exists with this storm to be tornadic, although not seeing that right now. The environment would support the risk for such. So we're watching closely. This is going to be round one, perhaps one or round one, or perhaps two or three additional rounds here. Um, so potential 3 rounds is what I'm trying to say. This is round one. Round two should be the strongest, which currently forming in Iowa and Missouri for right now. So Illinois beyond risk here a little bit later on this afternoon and evening, which is why you see us on here. And I do want to highlight just something that's really coming to fruition here. Back here on our GR2 radar, that StormNet product that we just highlighted a little bit ago here. I'm going to take that back here and show you guys what's happening. So this particular line out here in Missouri, we have this there you go. So we have a good area here on StormNet showing up here next hour or so for a tornado possible with this, right? So if I were to zoom way into this, I take a look at velocity, all along this line is actually starting to rotate. That's kind of funny how that's working, because this is actually overlaying quite well with the probability that that exists there. So that's really interesting to see how that tool is working here to predict that this could start rotating. And the latest scan is really starting to pick up rotation there in Iowa there. So this is picking up on this well ahead of time before the rotation even really starts to get going here. So honestly, it's a great tool we're going to begin to use here at GLSCN as well as on our other pages. So that's going to be interesting. It's interesting to see if that continues to strengthen into some rotation. That'll be moving more so into the Davenport area. So Illinois is not immediate risk for that. But we do have the guidance here later on that we may see a shift into Illinois here with some of this potential for tornadoes. We're seeing this as a 3 hours. Next 3 hours, your potential is going to be highest over West Illinois. Then for right now, the 1 hour is right here. There's also a little bit of blob on this one right here and up here as well, where these tornadoes are already occurring. So the bigger potential is going to be right here ahead of this line, which is what we're going to be watching here as it pushes into the region here. We can actually overlay that. Cool. We can overlay. So there's the storm. There's the overlay there. And we look at velocity. It's pretty much in the heart of that. So that's like identical. Like that's precise. That's awesome. Technology is advancing very rapidly, which is great news here for us in the weather. We look for tools to use anytime we can to help us forecast and make sure you guys are more so prepared. So anything we can use to better our forecasting skills, we are going to use it. Is there any probability on this storm down here on StormNet? Oh, there's a little bit of one. There's a little bit of a shading area coming up there. Not very high potential, but potential nonetheless. Here we go. Warning after warning is popping in here for these storms. It's crazy. None of these alerts are coming in for Illinois, and these storms continue to weaken here across West Central. So good news with that. Don't believe you have to track these much anymore. They look pretty elevated in nature via Twitter, storm chasers and stuff like that. So we have some information here saying, hey, and there we go. That's actually going to be for, okay, that's heading into, cool. So the latest alert that we got was for this tornado warning up here just north of Cedar Rapids. Again, not Illinois based, but Iowa continues to pop off here. And there's your rotation right there where this green and red are meeting. So that's not a confirmed warning at this point, but that rotation does look to be quite interesting. So all the storm chasers are converging on this cell here near Bloomfield, Iowa. And that is the storm that was starting to rotate. Yeah, there you go. So that's pretty close. I'll probably need a warning on that pretty soon. So there you go. We have a pretty much a good clear cut indicator that that StormNet tool that we're using is fairly accurate. We love to see that. It's actually getting stronger now. If we take the radar off the screen there, it's a bullseye right there. That is insane. Like that is a very strong signature there. So fascinates me how that can work like that. But like I said, technology is advancing. Concern still down here for Calhoun County in Illinois for 60-mile-per-hour winds. No, this is for Illinois. Alexis, there is no threat today for Ohio. Later tonight, overnight tonight in South Ohio, we could see some storms, but I don't think that's going to be too much to worry about. So you're good up where you're at there near Cleveland. Oh, I see. You're talking about okay, I see. Not seeing much in the way of any rotation on any of these storms, in Illinois at least. This storm that's heading into Calhoun County, Illinois, does have a report of tree damage as well as hail up to 0.75. So we're talking about a half inch to 3/4 inch size hail. That was in the city of Troy, which is going to be just north of Wentzville and O'Fallon in the St. Louis metro. So overall, the risk over here for this storm, all these storms really, are on the wow, are on the decline. It's only 4 o'clock and I am dragging. I'll wake up though. Good bow echo signature there near Hardin though. Let's go ahead and take that on our radar scope here and see what we can get off the airport radar. This storm right here, I'm curious how the winds are doing on this. Not too bad. What about on the relative here? Yeah, there's your gust front. Just about to cross completely into Illinois. So as long as these storms continue to weaken here, won't stay on here too much longer. We will be live probably later on this afternoon and evening to cover round 2, which is supposed to be more severe, which is what you're seeing developing out here. But it's moving more so northeast right now, so it's going to take some time to get into Illinois. But once it does, it should be cranking with all hazards being possible, particularly for West Illinois. As that line moves eastward, central Illinois, and perhaps western Indiana getting in on that threat as well, although the threat is very low the further east you go. So West Indiana, I wouldn't be too concerned past that point. So really the threat today should stay pretty much in the state of Illinois. It's got a new warning issued somewhere. I wouldn't be shocked if it's a tornado warning for that one cell over here. I don't see anything in Illinois yet. Yep. Seeing some indication here, this could be a gust front here trying to develop into a little bit of a little mini squall line there near Hardin. Wouldn't be shocked if they extended this warning here into the counties of Jersey and Greene counties in the next couple of minutes. Wouldn't be shocked if they did that. Overall, not getting much in the way of significant velocity signatures, but just judging by, oh, there we go. As soon as I mentioned it, new severe warning now for Greene, Jersey, and Macoupin counties in southwestern Illinois. That's going to include the risk of 60-mile-per-hour winds, as well as hail that is not severe, but could be some pretty medium, we'll say medium-sized hail, nickel penny size type of hail on that storm. Be tracking north-northeast at around, the warning says, 70 miles per hour. So areas impacted with this would be Carrollton, Whitehall, Root-House, Greenfield, Athensville, Scottsville, Barr, Campsville here, moving more so towards Eldred, Carrollton here, Highway 67, It's about to cross completely. It actually has crossed completely into Illinois now. So when you see these storms like this, try to bow like a backward C shape, like a bow and arrow, like a bow echo, we call it. That indicates usually some stronger winds are occurring, if not the surface, then in the upper levels of the atmosphere. But this in particular does look to be trying to produce some surface-based wind gusts here. At the very apex of this bow, right about here, is where you have your strongest winds. Hardin definitely is getting hit pretty hard, I would assume, right now. I'm not sure these winds are severe, but that'd be where the strongest ones would be occurring usually. And that's going to be moving off to the north-northeast here. Just got another alert. Not sure where, but looks like it's going to be somewhere probably up in Iowa again. So this is trying to strengthen a bit here, so we'll watch this close. I want to take this. Man, it's just warning after warning. It's nonstop today. But this is the storm right here I want to look at here. Let's go ahead and pause this so we have a better look at this. Let's take a look at the storm relative. Not much there. So you're probably wondering why I have all sorts of radars pulled up here. So they're all good in their own ways. Radar scope, which is the one on your screen right now, gives us a good indication of storm relative velocity, which is a different look into how the winds are turning and stuff like that. It gives us a better idea of what could be happening. It also has a really good product here with satellite background and correlation coefficient as well. So this is a good tool to use for hail, for debris signatures from tornadoes, and also velocity when you want a different look at this. But it doesn't. The limitation of this is if I were to zoom in like this, it doesn't give me road names, county names, nothing like that. So it's only good in a certain capacity. Whereas Radar Omega here, which is my personal preference of choice, I can choose the background, which I like it on gray here, but I could make a satellite if I wanted to. But I can also zoom in down to the road name here, where I could say this town of Titus and Spanky. If I want to zoom in way in here, this is Eldred Blacktop Road. Like I can zoom in way here and get like exact road names for you guys. So this is good in capacity for that. But again, this is also limited because of the inability to choose storm relative on a basis that helps us, like RadarScope does. Then the last one we have is Gibson Ridge, which is the best, in my opinion, overall. It gives us a lot of tools to use. We can do cross sections of storms. We can dive really deep into the data. So we have multiple radars pulled up here all the time because they all give us better information, and they all come together to help us cover these storms in total. Whoops, take that off here. This is going to be Southwest Illinois there, Derek. Southwest Illinois. There are storms all the way up in West Illinois currently, and also Iowa and Missouri, but we cover Illinois primarily. We'll be watching the storms closely in Iowa and Missouri as well. But right now, the only severe threat in Illinois appears to be down here in Greene, Jersey, and Calhoun counties. Everything else further north, just a lot of lightning, maybe some small hail with that as well, maybe some non-severe gusty winds. But overall, this is going to be a dying threat for right now. The main concern is back here in Missouri and Iowa. It's going to push into Illinois later on. What is the risk for Michigan tomorrow? The risk tomorrow is level 2 out of 5. So it's a slight risk. All hazards are possible, including tornadoes, wind, and hail. But the primary threat tomorrow across the risk area should be hail and then wind with a low chance of a tornado or two being possible. And there's your new warning for this. I bet you they put tornado possible on this. Yeah, they did. Uh, GR or Gibson Ridge, the product is about $250, Derek. So it's not free by any means, but it's a one-time license fee basically, and you can use it for life. If you're into weather radar and you want to learn about it, GR2 is the top of the line on a consumer basis. But if you're just a weather enthusiast that wants to track storms, you'd be better off with an app like Radar Scope or Radar Omega. Not seeing too much in the way of impressive velocity at all with these anymore. So that's good news here. All right. Well, I'm gonna wait for this storm here. If it continues to weaken, I'll probably hop off here in the next 5-10 minutes. Prepare for a live stream later on tonight for Illinois primarily, but also got to do a briefing for tomorrow's threat for the Michigan page. And then tomorrow we'll have chasers in the field across Michigan and Ohio. We'll be covering that primarily on the Michigan page. But we do have chasers out of state. We'll be covering those as well. It's just nonstop notifications today. If you guys got questions, feel free to drop those in chat. Won't be on here too much longer, I don't think. The risk for Western Illinois right now appears to be quite low, but it does increase later on tonight as these storms from Iowa and Missouri push into the region. All hazards are possible, including potential in like far west Illinois near Davenport area, like Mercer County, Warren County, Macomb County, Hancock. Those areas will have potential for a potential strong tornado or two. But overall, this risk will continue into the evening. And then as it moves eastward toward Indiana, it should lessen with severity. So as it continues east, we're not really concerned too much for Indiana, Ohio, or Michigan for that matter tonight. But we're watching either way of these storms. So if you guys got questions, feel free to drop those in chat now. But otherwise, I'll probably hop off here pretty soon. Alrighty. We'll wait probably 2 more scans here. And if nothing starts showing up here, I'll hop off. A lot of hail coming out of the Troy, Missouri area with these storms moving into Illinois. I wouldn't be shocked if they continued a warning here for Jersey, maybe even Madison, Macoupin counties as well on a secondary warning for the South. But Overall, these storms are currently not producing severe weather according to spotter reports. It's not to say that they're not producing, but at this point in time, they're going through populated areas. So you would think that if there was severe weather happening, we have a report of it so far, but we have not. So that's great news. So again, if you guys live in Western Illinois, basically all of Illinois today, really, these will push. This line right here that's currently in Illinois will continue to push east northeast, but it is weakening as it does so. So overall, isolated severe weather possible with these storms. Not going to rule out a tornado. Main risk should be damaging winds with this. Then the main threat tonight is still off here in Iowa that has developed all on this line here. That's going to push into West Illinois here in the next hour or so. This is moving more so to the northeast, so it'll take a little bit of time before it gets into Illinois, by an hour or two. But otherwise, if you're out ahead of that line, you have the highest risk later on tonight in Illinois. So, with that being said, I'm going to hop off here. I'm going to rest and recharge. We'll be live more than likely again tonight covering severe weather, but also doing a briefing for the Michigan page as well. So stay tuned for that if you guys want to watch for Michigan. Otherwise, we'll be live more than likely tomorrow back here on Great Lakes Storm Chasing Network with a live stream coverage tomorrow of storm chasing in the field. So with that being said, I'm going to hop off here. You guys enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and I'll more than likely see you guys tonight.